Good evening to everyone. Welcome to Monaca Borough Council, regular council meeting for June 23rd, 2015. I would ask everyone to stand for the invocation and remain standing for the flag salute. I think we should right now have a moment of silence for the 9 people that were killed last week down in the Carolinas over nothing more than, I guess, racism, which is really not something we tolerate in this country. Let's rather moment of silence. Let's pray for those deceased. Recite the Our Father. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Snyder?
He won't be here. He got called. They got a well done. He's got to repair.
Mrs. Rossi? Here. Mr. May?
Here.
Mr. McKay?
Present.
Mr. Michael?
Present.
Mr. Miller?
Present.
Mr. Zigarelli?
Present.
Mr. Wilson?
Present.
Mr. Nickel?
Here.
President DeMarzio?
Present.
Mayor Analon?
Present.
Okay, Mr. Sadaka, you have a report for us?
Yes, sir. Good evening.
Good evening.
The 2015 paving project list, we did a few core boards and we have completed our report. And we're ready to go ahead with advertising. We'll provide the advertisement probably tomorrow to the manager. And basically the project will be for Maple Alley from 10th to 11th Street and Bechtel Street extension. And we have also apron area from 10th Street, for 10th Street and 11th at the intersection of Atlantic and then 14th Street on both sides of, on either side of the tracks. That would be an add item on the project. And I know I apologize, the estimate didn't make it to the report, but the base bid would be for the alley and Bechtel estimated cost is $68,842. And the add for the aprons is $14,776. Basically, I'm not sure if you need to authorize the advertise or we just go ahead and do the advertisement.
Probably should be a motion to
Yeah.
advertise.
It's not on the agenda?
It is not.
Okay, we'll take it out later, I guess under new business. Authorize to proceed. It pleases council.
Okay, and then there was discussion at the last meeting when Danny brought up some issues for sewer, sanitary sewer problems. And the one that was remaining that we had to follow up was along Beaver Avenue that affected the sanitary sewer line. We have a few options that probably by tomorrow I'll be able to meet with the manager, present ideas and costs, and I guess we'll go from that point to what we want to do. And the last thing I have on my list is the 21st Street. The information was requested by the solicitor, was provided. I understand maybe everything is there in order, so that's all I have at this point.
Does anybody have any questions for the engineer? If not, Mr. Sadaka, thank you for your time.
Okay.
Have a good evening.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
We'll open the meeting up to the visitor section for comments or questions regarding items on the agenda. So the floor is now open. Please approach the podium, state your name, address for items on the agenda. Last call. Okay, the visitor section is now closed. Mr. Leon, do we have any communications?
No communication.
Getting down to business then, we need a motion to approve the regular meeting minutes of June 9th, 2015 council meeting.
So moved.
Second. Mr. Brewer makes the motion. Mr. Zigarelli seconds. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, please signify by saying nay. Motion carries. Fiscal and contractual, we need a motion to approve the monthly bills.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Brewer makes the motion. Mr. Wilson seconds. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, please signify by saying nay. Motion carries. Public safety, chairman's report. Mr. McKay, here.
Not in the report.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Snyder's not here. We don't have anything under blight nor highway, other than what was discussed by the borough engineer. Buildings and grounds, Ms. Pestovich, anything? All right, thank you. Water, Mr. Wilson.
On no meetings. Sorry. Nothing tonight.
All right. General government, Mr. Brewer.
No meeting, Mr. President.
Okay. Item B then would be a motion to hire Ian Mezak as a part-time temporary seasonal employee with Public Works Department at $8.50 an hour, not to exceed 24 hours.
So moved.
Mr. Brewer made the motion,
Second.
second by Mr. Mickel. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, please signify by saying nay.
For the record, it's not to exceed 24 hours per week.
Very good. I think it was inferred. Okay, let's have a discussion now. You should have all received a contract in your packet concerning the Beaver County Humane Society, and I'll let Borough Manager Leon elaborate on that, whether or not it merits us going forward with it or not. Mr. Leon.
Yes, hopefully you all read the packet provided by the Humane Society in listing what it does. It is not 24-hour animal control. It's on an as-needed basis. They will make periodic patrols through the borough. It is for $100 a week, so basically, or $100 a month, and that's basically what you're getting. But it provides you the ability to drop off pets there, and as it indicates, the other services they provide. So for that nominal fee, I think it may behoove the borough to enter into this contract with the Humane Society. And we are fortunate that our former employee, Nick Flores, who's not working at the Humane Society, having him as a resident, I think will probably get a patrol on his way to work and on his way home. But I think we'll get a little extra benefit from him as well. So I would suggest council consider entering this agreement.
Okay, with that being said, let's have a quick discussion. DB, any questions regarding this? Mr. Michael?
$100 a month, right, Mr. Leon?
Yes.
Any additional fees if we need to call him up?
There could be some additional fees in the event that there is some prosecution, but I believe those fees would then be assessed to that individual and recouped accordingly. I would have to read through the contract that answer that exactly.
Do you have anything else? John?
Yeah, I don't know the dog codes that were mentioned there. If anybody does, if they need clarification, if they don't, we're fine.
We read through it once in his office, and there was, to be honest with the body here, I scratched my head, and Mr. Miller was wondering what's the difference between a contract with the borough and maybe a private citizen. But I think it's for $1,200, we should just err on the side of caution that we have a contract with him and we have an understanding as to what is to be business. Mr. Brewer.
I would ask that this be put on the next meeting.
Okay. We need a motion for that, but we'll proceed for it. It'll be on the agenda. Okay. I guess we can circle back later on for that, for Mr. Becker's question. We have here a motion to approve a quote for two lawn service in the amount of $1,737.60 for vegetation control at 6 locations.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Brewer made the motion, Mr. Nichols seconded. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, signify by saying nay. Thank you. Item E, discuss request from Donna Schooley, if I pronounced that correctly, 2200 Ridge Road, fence permit. Mr. Leon, can you elaborate, please?
The schoolies were here at our last meeting, indicated some hardship in regards to erecting a fence on their premises. So they are once again before council on trying to get your conditional use to provide them the ability of putting a 6-foot fence, what would be a portion of their side and or front yard area. There are pictures that are provided to you in your packet showing the parcel, how it sits. It is it's kind of elevated up above the roadway. There are some surrounding homes, whether those particular fences have been grandfathered in or not, but there are some 8-foot fences. Matter of fact, one right across the street that's there. I think it aesthetically would kind of blend with some surrounding homes in the area, but again, that's obviously council's decision to make that decision or not, and they're before you requesting approval.
Question I have is, was the site investigated? Looked at it physically?
I looked at it personally, and I know Councilman Brewer was with me when I went and looked, and I don't want to speak for Mr. Brewer, but I believe we concurred that it probably wouldn't be
An issue?
an issue. Right.
Any questions?
Yes, the kitchen door you're speaking of, that's to the left side of the house as you face it, correct? It's got the tall green shrubs.
Yeah.
That fence would come up beyond that porch a slight
It
bit.
would. You know where the steps come up from the road?
Yes.
It would be to the right of that.
So the door you're talking that was in question is on Lane,
It's on the side.
or Childs, I mean.
It's facing the yard.
Yeah, you've got the tall pines in front of it.
Actually, it's the one facing the alley.
It's facing the alley.
Yes.
Did it satisfy your?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, we need some movement on this, council.
Being we discussed it last week, I don't have an issue on going ahead and motion that there is a hardship, and that's
Yes.
part of that. When you go for a variance, you have to prove hardship, and there is a hardship. So at this time, I'd like the motion to go ahead and approve.
All right, Mr. Brewer has made the motion, second by Mr. Zigarelli to proceed and grant the permit. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, please signify by saying nay. Motion carries. Let's have a discussion, a request for Whiskey Rhythm for an event on July 5th. You should have all received something here from the borough office regarding that. I'll open the floor up for a quick discussion. Do we have any questions? Yes, sir. Sorry, Mr. McKay.
The only issue I have is that we had concerts before on Main Street and off to the side, and we had issues with those, with problems, and we denied them before. So I just want to make sure that everyone's aware of it. I know it's a different type of thing, different time, but here's the issues of all the problems we have with people in the streets and in the alleys, and urinating in the yards and stuff like that. So, and I didn't see anywhere where it said that there was going to be any police present. There's security, but none of our police officers. And I'd like the chief's opinion also.
You get Mr. Brewer, and we'll get, Chief, we'll get you in a second here.
I would say the other ones that were denied because they asked to close the entire Main Street.
Right.
And because of the extra police that were needed. I don't think there was any reason to deny them.
Anyway, well, good, Mr. McKay.
Yes, there was because of the swearing over the PA system, and like I said, once again, it was the residents in the area that had complained.
Chief,
Yeah, not
please approach the podium, sir.
having a chance to digest exactly what they want to do or how they want to do it. I absolutely have a problem with it, so I'd like to get an opportunity at least to understand what they're going to do and how they're going to do it before we make a decision on whether we're going to.
And it's only been, they just requested and they want it for next weekend.
There's no
Yeah,
planning, no real planning time at
Yeah,
all.
and I certainly apologize, but the request did not come to the borough until Monday. So it was released to you as quick as we received it, as well as a letter was sent to the parking authority as well, because the parking authority probably controls 75% of the property that they're looking to utilize for the concert. You know, the concert is going to be held from 12 to 6 p.m. on Sunday. They are asking for it to be closed from 9 to 9, 3 hours before the event, just to prep it and get the stage set and whatnot, and then 3 hours following to clean up. So it'll be a daylight event, 12 to 6. It's a country band in music. I listen to some country, I'm not sure how much they swear, but I guess we can make sure that that doesn't occur if council chooses to move forward. My understanding is they have cameras erected around their premises. They're all working. They're willing to provide any of that for the police to look at if something happens. Other than that, the area would be fenced off. You have to enter through the Whiskey Rhythm door, and then you would then enter that facility through their back door into the parking lot area and whatnot. So you'll only be able to get into the area from one location, and then exit from the same as well. And you'll have this perimeter's fenced off.
Mr. Wilson.
Yeah, the only reservation that I have is that I know that there is some church facilities in that area, and I know that Mass is usually start around 12 o'clock. I need for that to interrupt any services that could be going on in that area.
So we got Mr. Brewer.
What I didn't see in there, I would hope that they're not going to allow alcohol on the outside of the building.
Well, they're saying that they will comply, they're going to comply with all alcohol sales will be conducted with them and covered under LID 71004, and will follow PA LCD standards. So, whatever those are, they're stating that they're going to, if they don't, they're going to be subject to those violations. I don't know if they're going to want to risk their license and do something.
I just don't think they should be drinking in the streets.
Yeah, well, they can't anyway, by law, by state law. Mr. May.
Yeah, I guess part of the consideration there is where does the parking for the event take place? As they eliminate their parking, band rooms a little bit protective of their parking, for lack of a better word. So if we could get some of the details about where that would take place, expected attendance, those type of details, I think would help us make a little bit better of an educated decision.
Well, I think due to timeliness, we're going to have to decide tonight. I don't think there's another meeting until after the event, but go ahead, Jim.
On the other thing, I did email some of the members of Parking Authority, and I've got one response, and we don't meet till the end of the month. I just think that people are gonna plan something, they need to put in a special event permit at least 90 days in advance. Just shoot from the hip, you just can't do it. You're asking for a problem.
That's a good point, Jeff, and let me ask this.
I'm not, like I said, I'm
No.
not totally against it.
No, but there's,
Planning-wise, it's-
we have to plan for it. There's a question on security, just how to go about it, parking. There's a number of questions here. And do we have permitting? I should know this, but I don't. Regarding special events. We just, anything from metal notes.
We have a block party
Yeah.
procedure that if, residents want to close a section, we ask them to, any resident that is on that section of block to sign it. It has to be, 100% approval. I guess we can ask them to get approval from the band room. Farmers Insurance is next to them, but it's Sunday, they're closed, so I don't see any impact of closing that section of 11th. 12th Street, actually.
As
1198.
as previously mentioned, that's all part of the planning process. This does sound like we're planning here. How do we want to proceed, council? Yeah, I'm sorry.
Is there anyone here from them to answer questions for us?
He was on, his wife is having surgery and he was unable to be here. And that's the reason he's not here.
Good point.
Make a motion to deny it this time.
All right.
Well,
Mr. McKay's made the motion. Mr.
no.
Zigarelli. No, Zigarelli.
He's writing to me right now. Can we pause this for like 30 more seconds? See what he said.
He should be here.
Well, he's not here because of the family emergency.
Yeah, but you gotta
Mr.
understand,
McKay.
we only got a week, and it's not proper to do something that way. You should know, you've been involved in many events.
All right, I'll give you a minute. 1 minute.
So there's three little dots, Mr.
This is in the age of high
There
internet
it is.
traffic. See, I told you. Make a commercial.
Okay, he said if we plan for a fall fest in the lot, would that be something different to consider?
Yes. In the fall. Yeah. With the understanding that he's going to start planning for it.
Right.
Yeah.
I said that you said about 90-day grace period that we talk about plan all this out. I said that.
Okay, let's follow protocol then. Mr. McKay has made the motion to deny.
Second.
Second by Mr. Michael. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please signify by saying nay. Okay, it's denied, but with the understanding is that it's not that we don't want it, it needs to be planned, and I applaud Mr. McKay for that, because in the real world, not the lecture, the successful things are, the effort is 90% planning, 10% execution.
I just want to add one more time, he is cool with that. I did tell him that there's just too many questions, and he's sorry he can't be here, he's answering them all, so he's cool with coming in.
Well,
Next meeting.
it's all good, it's all good. And we'll keep that in the back of our mind with Diane McKay and her reunion group here, how they're gonna work things out and we'll make it happen. All right, let's move on. Need a motion to approve a donation in the amount of $15,000 to the Monaca Library. This is something I believe we budget every year.
Yes.
It's a budgeted item from last year. We approved the budget to approve it, so I guess we have to just go through the paperwork.
So moved. Second.
All right, Mr. Brewer made a motion, Mr. Michael second. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please signify by saying nay. Motion carries. Monaca Volunteer Community Outreach Committee, Mrs. Majors.
Good evening. I just wanted to report that for Saturday, Mayor, I think you may know, we have two crews of youth coming in for cleanup on garbage pickup for the event at the pump house. First crew will come in from noon to 5. Second crew comes in from 5 until 10:30 p.m. We should have 4 probation officers coming with them, and if they're shorthanded, I told them that I'd just call me up and down and make sure they're with them. So we have that taken care of. My question to you is, I will have 2 or 3 youth on Thursday. Is there anything that you need or feel that needs to be accomplished before Saturday? Other than our just a little bit of maintenance?
I'll let you know Thursday.
You'll need to let me know Wednesday night.
Wednesday
because
night.
I have to be at the hospital Thursday morning before I meet with the kids. So,
Yeah, if something comes up.
yeah, if there's anything
Right now,
specific.
I'm not aware, but I'm sure something may pop up, and I appreciate the offer, and we'll communicate.
Okay, if there's
Otherwise,
anything you
just-
think of, please let me know.
Tidy up downtown and make it look good for the parade.
Well, there is one thing I'd like to comment that would make it look better, but I don't know if the time allows for it. It's along Pennsylvania, down by CBS, a little bit up closer to 17th Street, which really is not a big deal. There are some weeds coming up in the sidewalks. I think it just be whacked down. It would give it a lot neater look along the avenue for the parade. That's the only thing I can think of. And if you don't have anything else, we were just going to neaten up some of the islands that needed it, to make sure we're good to go and clean.
They're looking good, by the way. A lot of rain's helping.
Thank God we don't have the water.
Yeah, you're out figuring out the water for a while.
Yeah, I think we're good to go.
We shift gears now?
Pardon?
May we shift gears?
Yes, should we?
Okay, let's shift gears into Downtown Business Authority. Mrs. Majors.
Mr. DiMarzio, I have nothing to report until our meeting the third Thursday of the month.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Mrs. Majors.
Yes.
Mr. Mike.
Yes, just food for thought. Do you plan on doing any of the hills as far as that litter pickup for the kids in the near
We
future?
did last week.
Is there anything in the near future?
What I need, and I didn't have enough time, I didn't feel it was enough time to plan it. We need to do the upper end of Cascade. We did 14th, we did Eckert. We need the upper end of Cascade, which needs to be shut down because of that one curve, it's blind for safety. And I also will need to shut down Colonial for about 30 minutes. Colonial looks pretty bad.
The only reason I said that is because we just approved 2 in the spring, and I didn't know if you wanted to, if you had anything planned, that you would do it before they spray. 'Cause
Well,
once they
we
spray,
just did the 14th and the lower end of Cascade and Eckert on last Thursday. It was last Thursday.
May want to wait. I don't know which is better, before or after, but I would wait. Or just keep that in mind. If you aren't going to do anything, wait a while.
I'll check with the borough before we take them on a pickup, but normally we also have them in vinyl gloves and everything, so they're not,
Yeah.
you know.
You know, it's 6 of one, half a dozen the other. Poison ivy versus chemicals. Good point. Mr. Boer.
Was it just me, or did we miss the third Thursday? Last Thursday.
No, you missed it.
You missed it.
I missed it.
Where were you, John?
Every,
I
yeah,
missed it.
I called you. Where
That's
were you?
why I asked.
No.
yes.
We didn't have a quorum.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Council of Government, Mr. Brewer.
Meeting's this Thursday, 7 o'clock, right here.
Okay. You guys aren't going anything? Brady? We're trying to attend. Managers report, Mr. Leone.
Yes, wanted to bring one item to council's attention, specifically 2012 property maintenance code. Currently, the borough is operating under 2003. Speaking with our new NSO officer, it's his recommendation that council consider adopting the 2012. Just, it's the current version, and it's part of where we should be. So, if that is the case, then I would need council's authorization to the solicitor in preparing the necessary documents fit.
Somebody get a motion.
Would be an ordinance. Is it possible that that ordinance could be stated for the current version?
Changes?
No, only because the property maintenance code changes so often in the verbiage that you're better off having that attached to the ordinance, saying that that is your ordinance, rather than saying the most recent,
And you might not want to.
you may not want it, there may be parts you don't want, so it's,
You know, they changed it, we would have approved it as another body would make the changes.
I'll second that motion.
Okay.
but there may be parts of that that I will recommend you to not adopt. So I'll have to go through the new version and see what we need, or should delete, or add.
Before we vote on this, if I may ask the solicitor, Rich, can you give us a, and I'm not gonna hold it to it, but a rough idea of how it is, so I can for you to review it and recommend?
I don't have the current version of the 2012 property maintenance code, so I'm not sure how long that's going to take to get ordered in, and we have to get that from the body that makes that. So it could be a month and a half, give or take.
Just wanted an idea. Okay, thank you, sir. Mr. McKay's made the motion. Mr. Brewer seconded. All in favor of approving or modifying this to the 2012 property maintenance code as the solicitor's going to research for us, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please signify by saying nay. Okay.
And then just for an update on the water pump house, the consultant is indicating that by June 30th, we should have a report. And we know that's been a moving target. He's been suffering some personal health problems. And each time that occurs, it's setting him back. So hopefully we will have an answer on June 30th for which directions we may need to take correcting that electrical problem. The elevator project is moving forward. The county is looking to approve Hancock Architectures to put that back out for bid. And the Meadowline Park documents are at the DCNR for their final approvals, and our building code inspectors are reviewing them as well. So hopefully we get both of those approvals simultaneously, and we'll be putting that out for bid as well. This morning we had a meeting in regards to the 17th Street corridor with all the property owners and stakeholders down in that area. It went pretty well. They all seem to be pretty receptive to the idea and concept of a roundabout at 17th, so we've got their support with that. However, some of the council's vision on creating a public roadway through that property and kind of energizing some of the economic development down there on that property site was not met with great reception by the primary property owner. It's kind of disheartening, and I think general government may need to have a meeting and talk a little bit more in detail on the direction we want to go with that vision of the borough.
That's going to be an action item for Mr. Brewer for your group.
Okay. That concludes my report. Any questions?
Questions? Mr. White.
Yes, we're going to update the NSO code, correct?
Well, it's the International Property Maintenance Code. We're currently operating under 2003. There's been a 2009 version, which we've never adopted to. There's some minor changes to it. The newest version is 2012. And typically when a 2012 comes out, it's already like a year, 2 years old.
My question is, do we have the right to enforce anything if we're using an outdated code?
Yes.
Yeah.
We'll
Okay.
still do the 2003.
All right.
Yeah.
That's a good question. Anything else?
I don't.
All right, any questions for the borough manager? Okay, borough solicitors report. Solicitor Yurick. Anything, sir?
Thank you. The 21st Street planned vacation is on schedule. We notified everybody in the Kelowna plan. We notified and received verification that all the abutting property owners received notices. I received 3 consents, waiting for 6 others. Everything is still on track. Tomorrow, you will see in the paper the first advertisement, and then next week, next Wednesday, will be the second ad. We're still scheduled to adopt it at your first meeting in July. I sent down to you secondarily the property ordinance that we reviewed from Paulo Borough. Put some comments on it. And await your feedback. You probably should adopt that at the same time if you're considering adopting it as you do the property maintenance code. They kind of go hand in glove, but not totally. They relate to one another. That's all I have.
Thank you. Any questions for the solicitor?
Just, that attachment's included in your packet with the comments, so please read it and get back to us.
So if we could look, we're gonna circle back on those two, and well, the Apollo one is, to me, more urgent pending one, simply because of what it does, but that'll come in around the same time, then about 6 weeks from now. Mr. Brewer?
At our first monthly meeting, general government meeting next month, we'll go over any comments that he has and give our recommendations.
I could answer Mr. Michael's question too earlier. I looked at the agreement with the Humane Society, that you pay $100 a month, and that's for a basic service, which really doesn't amount to a whole lot of money. But you also assign to them any penalties that they would have a magistrate impose, and any kind of expenses that are imposed, they get to keep. And if there's any monies that come from the Pennsylvania Department of Agriculture for the adoption or humane disposition of stray dogs, to the extent that there would be some reimbursement, they get to keep that too. I think really those are small prices to pay in the big picture of things for what it would cost you if you had an individual doing it on your own.
Okay. If there's no questions, we'll move forward. And under new business, if I may bring up Mr. Sadaka's recommendation for us to proceed with the advertisement of the bid. I'd like a motion on
I'd
this.
like to make that motion, please.
Second.
Mr. Wilson made the motion, seconded by Mr. Brewer. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, signify by saying nay. Thank you. We'll start with Mr. Michael. Anything under new business, sir?
I have some questions if you're gonna hold the council at the end, but nothing under new business.
Okay. You want to ask him now?
It's up to you.
Okay.
Back to the NSO officer. I read the resume 3 times already. Mary, is he leaving any of these other positions in other towns in order to work for us?
He is here working Monday through Thursday, 8 to 4.
Okay.
What he does after, I don't think we can control.
No, I'm not asking that he strictly be with us. The point is, with everything he listed that he does, and with all these other townships and boroughs, I want to make sure Monaca has enough time that if we're paying him 32 hours, I want 32 hours of in Monaca on the job. That's the only thing about the NSO law.
He's on Monaca's dime, he's on Monaca's time.
That's exactly right.
And currently, it's Monday through Thursday, 8 to 4, and, seasonal, winter, if there's not a need, it may be reduced to whatever would be necessary to accomplish the tasks.
And has he started?
He has.
Okay.
Started on Monday.
I'd like him to go up to Howe Avenue. I think we've got a problem there. It was brought to my attention by Mr. Fredericks.
Is there a specific address or
Um,
where at? Howe's relatively short street.
Yes, let's say the corner of Howe and Ridge. You'll see the Bay Area faces Ridge, the front of the house faces Howe, and the Dorby, and the house next to it. And I agree with Mr. Fredericks, it is atrocious. I don't know if they've had someone pass away, whether it's been abandoned, I don't know the situation, but literally the grass is.
We'll get a look at it.
Correct.
Okay. And last question I have is, did we issue any fencing permits in the last 3 months?
That it?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Brewer?
Nothing.
Mr. Savage? Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Cigarelli? Fred Savage. Okay, nice haircut. Mr. Wilson?
Nothing under new.
Mr. Mickle? Mayor? Ms. Tesevich? Mr. Knight? Mr. McKay?
Yeah, I have one thing.
What do you got?
Due to Officer Anthony Clay is going to be deployed for at least a year in Afghanistan, the chief and mayor requested that, and I haven't had a chance to talk to Mr. Michael, we just talked about this tonight, to add another officer, part-time officer to our force. Would be Officer Keith Calvin Smith, and that's at the recommendation of the chief and the mayor.
What's his name?
It's Officer Keith Calvin Smith.
All right, I understand the timeliness of the situation, and I would hope the council would understand as well because of the deployment. Mr. Brewer?
It's a recommendation from the chief and the mayor. I think we should proceed with a motion to.
All right, Mr. Brewer makes the motion, Mr. Wilson seconds, to hire Keith Calvin Smith as a part-time police officer for the borough of Monaca. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, please signify by saying nay. He's on board. Okay, that takes care of the new business. Do we have any old business?
I-
Mr. Wilson?
Yeah, unfortunately, I missed the last meeting also, but I did want to report that there was 4 fire hydrants that were fixed, refurbished, and put back in the service. Anybody wasn't aware, I know that there was questions prior, so I'm going to give the update of 4 things that they did.
We've had them on the action item list. I think there was, what, total 6?
There was a total of 12 that were in leaking, but not out of
All right.
service.
Duly noted.
Could I get those addresses?
Yeah, I will.
Was that with the help of Mr. Hughes, Jerry, or did we
No,
sub that out? How
no,
did
that
that
was-
accomplish?
That was all internal by Mr. Fredericks, Mr. McKay, Mr. Agazzini, and I believe Mr. who's there?
Actually, we had the assistance of Center Water Authority and Mr. DeJogan from LB Water, and it's my understanding that Mr. Hughes is currently an employee of LB Water now as well, because this Victory White closed, and so he is now an employee of LB Water. And the representative from LB came as well as an employee from Center Water Authority.
So,
They came in.
Did they charge us?
No.
my understanding, there was some training involved.
Yeah, I think Billy came down and trained on that, was the first.
Good. All right. Any other old business? We're going to move on then to open up the floor again for visitor section. Anything that's on your mind. The floor is now open. Please approach the podium. Your name, address.
My name's Jim Lansbury, I'm 1276 South Elm Street. Just wondered what we found out about the dog problem I have across the street.
I apologize. I promised Mrs. Lansbury I'd contact her, but in further consideration, until we get complete resolution to it, I didn't want to create any sense of false hope. But what I'm going to do is I'll let the chief speak to it, since he's the one that's he's taking the lead on it. Bill, you have anything?
Brief history on installed. Back in March 2013, we ended up filing a charge to the district magistrate on the owner of the dog because of the problems that we had with the dog and the viciousness of the dog and the viciousness of the attacks and the bites. And we filed a Dangerous Dog Act through our magistrate. In April 2013, the owner of the dog pleads guilty. The dog becomes dangerous then. With the dog becoming dangerous, it's then now taken to the state. So the state handles anything that happens with that dog henceforth. Of course, the owner of the dog had to comply with a lot of restrictions that the magistrate put on her because the dog was deemed dangerous. High fence, muzzle on a leash, different types of things that she had to do in order to fulfill the requirements of the magistrate because the dog was deemed dangerous. For a year and a half, we don't get any reports of anything that was out of the ordinary with this dog, nor that this dog got involved in any bites or any problems. Henceforth, 2 weekends ago, dog gets out, chases another dog, people get bit. I come to work on Monday, I read the report. I didn't get a chance to talk last week, so I read the report and I contact the state. Well, the state dog officer, his name's Bob Shiro, he's off, and they said, we'll have his assistant get a hold of you. Monday comes and goes. Tuesday gets here. They come to council, and I don't have an opportunity to speak, and I'm still sitting back here not really knowing what to say because nobody got back to me yet from the state. Wednesday, I get a call back from a girl by the name of Renee Herring. She's taking the place of Bob Shiro, who's off sick or on vacation, one or the other. She tells me that she's going to start an investigation right away on this dog because of what happened over the weekend. She calls me back probably 4 days later, the next week, Monday or Tuesday, and says she's not having any cooperation with anybody in the neighborhood that will testify to what happened. I said, okay. I said, would you like me maybe to take a crack at getting somebody to testify or something? Because they can't really do anything without testimony. They just can't, on our reports, and I sent her all of them, all the way back to 2012, they really can't do anything. So she said, no, she says, I'm gonna take another crack at it in 2 days. She's gonna come back down. And they're out the other part of the state, so they're coming in to our community and doing this because that's a job, really, once the dog's deemed dangerous. So she calls me, she comes back in, and I went to the chiefs of police meeting, and I told her I'd come back and go with her if she needed me to, and she said she's gonna try it on her own. So she talked to 2 other people that day, and then the next day she called me, and she was happy to inform me that there are folks going to testify against the dog. She then calls me back next day and says that she sent that complaint to their district attorney out in that area because that's where the complaint has to go because it's being filed by the state. So they filed the complaint last week. I asked her to forward me all of her reports and to keep me updated on what might happen henceforth with the testimony that's going to be given by. She indicated 2 people, so I know who they are, but I don't really want to say, but there are 2 people that are going to testify on this dog, which is really a plus. And I think that's all they really need. The dog's been in too much problems, too many reports, too many things went on with this particular animal that it needs to be taken out of the community of Monaca, and I think that's going to happen. So that's the update, and I hope that.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I hope that
Chief,
helps.
thanks for the update.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it. Yes.
Did they, I heard previously that the fence that she has up is not within the codes that it's supposed to be.
The only problem with the fence that she put up is not only does it have to be this way, it has to be under too. And she didn't comply with it under, and we complained about that. They didn't seem to take too much of offense to it, and I never heard the dog dug under, so I didn't really force the issue to them, but yeah, it really wasn't in compliance.
She does have other pit bulls in that house, correct?
Yeah, unfortunately it goes dog to dog. That's the unfortunate thing. One pit bull, this particular case it's Roscoe, is different than another pit bull that's named another name. So until the other pit bull that's named another name bites somebody, then we start all over again. It's just.
I'm sorry, ma'am, we're going to need your name and address, please, if I may. Sort of jump out of procedure.
Susan Dogo, 1242 Elkhorn Street.
Thank you. Thanks, Chief.
You're welcome.
Anybody else? Visitor section? Anything? Okay, visitor section is not closed. Executive session, we need anything for this? Okay, any announcements, Mayor? Do you have anything?
Good, thanks.
You sure? What's happening this weekend?
The celebration.
Oh, what's going on?
175 years of Monaca.
Okay. And there is advertisement in the Beaver County Times, I would imagine, for the event.
Last week there was advertisements on the website. I was on the radio this morning.
Okay, very good.
It's out in the water bills. We'll get your water bill tomorrow, I believe.
All right, thank you, Mayor. If there's no further business, then any motion for adjournment? Mr. Brewer makes the motion. Second by Mr. Zigarelli. I'm sorry, Mr. McKay makes the motion, second by Mr. Zigarelli. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Oh, one last thing, council. As of right now, you should have gotten something today regarding what committees you're on. So we're on this new modified committee. One starts right now. Okay, so I'm putting it on, Mr. Brewer, Mr. Wilson, notify your parties when you have those meetings. Please do not cancel. If you can't make it, let the borough manager know, he'll provide the agenda for the meetings.
I have a recommendation that Dawn for my action.
Oh, sure. You I can nail that over right there.